Like the greatest. Man, I don't know. The GOAT, the GOAT. Michael Jordan or LeBron James. See, but I feel like everybody leave Kobe Bryant out of it though.
Wow.
What's up, everybody? So, once again, welcome to my videos. My name is Michael Stevenson, and this is specifically my entertainment industry series where I talk about the entertainment industry as a whole and why I feel that it has changed and not necessarily for the better. So, we are once again in the early days of these videos, and we are trying to, or at least I am trying to establish a particular lingo, a particular language with you so that we have a shorthand so that later on, if I'm talking about things in later videos, you can understand when I mention a particular thing or a particular phrase or word, what have you, you can understand like, oh, that's exactly what he's talking about. So today, we are going to be talking about what I call the FGL principle. That is the letters FGL principle. So I'm going to try to keep this video short because, again, in the same way that I feel like the cycle is a principle that is nebulous, and again, if you don't know what the cycle is, please go back and see that video because I explained it there, and I'm going to explain it more in other videos. But just like I think the cycle is a nebulous idea, I also kind of feel that FGL is in a way similar to that. So I'm going to talk about the baseline of it here, but I'm going to mention it in other videos and I guess a more in-depth way, especially when we get to things like, remakes, sequels, things of that nature, right? So the FGL principle, what is it? Let me first start off by saying that this is a universal principle. It doesn't just apply to film and television or entertainment. It applies literally to everything. It applies to life in general, which is one of the reasons why it's a nebulous idea. It doesn't have to do anything with songs or anything like that. Let me also say that it is, I guess, my more simplified version of at least two psychological or sociological ideas that already exist out there. And if I can remember the names of those ideas, I will mention them with their corresponding letters here. So basically what the FGL principle is that it is a governing principle that states you are most influenced by one of three things in your life, okay? You are most influenced by when you do something the first time you do it, the last time you do it, that's the L, or the greatest time you do it, or the most fun time, or whatever. This also applies to like various lists of things. As you saw, I started the video with a reference to basketball greats, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, but it literally applies to almost anything in life. For instance, it says that you are influenced by these things, but more importantly, that you remember those things the most. So most people remember their first time. Y'all know what first time I'm talking about. Most people remember their greatest time, or generally the romantic partner that they had some of the greatest horizontal engagements with, let's say. They remember that. And then also, of course, mainly because it's the last, most people tend to remember the last partner that they engage with, whether that be the person that they married or maybe they are widowed or what have you. They tend to remember that as well, regardless of whether it was good or bad, whatever. So the way in which the FGL principle affects entertainment is quite simple, is that the first time you see something, especially when you're young, whether it's a particular idea, a character, or the way that something is put together, the way that something is presented, what have you, the first time you see it, generally you are going to hold that in the highest esteem, especially if it is good. If it's good, you're going to hold that in the highest esteem. And regardless of what other things come along, almost everything that comes along that even potentially touches on the same ideas or the same themes as that thing that you saw initially, you're going to compare to that first thing. And as an aside, let me say that I was always taught that, listen, one of the best ways to get people to understand stuff is to always give them the idea first, and then give them an example that they can hopefully relate to, and then like have this sort of conversation with them about that example and that idea, right? So I'm trying to make sure that you guys have some sort of like a personal connection to what this stuff is. So the best thing I can give you an example is that of my own experience with Jurassic Park. The first time I ever saw Jurassic Park, it was amazing. Like it was fantastic. The funny thing is that I can't actually remember seeing it or consuming it, but all I can remember is that it was amazing and that it changed me forever. Every time that I see not only dinosaurs interacting in some sort of story, some sort of movie or television show, but also every time I saw a sequel to the initial Jurassic Park, whether it was the Jurassic Park 2 through 4, I believe, or 3, or the Jurassic Worlds, I always refer it back to the first Jurassic Park, simply because it's hard for me to separate my first initial experience from all these other experiences. And it feels like they either build on that in a good way or in a bad way. So I'm always comparing it, regardless of whether I want to or not. Now, again, this is a bias that we can partially get over, we can conquer it, but it does take quite a bit of work. Similarly, the last thing, okay? The last one is a little bit harder. I think the term in psychology or sociology is recency bias, right? So the most recent thing that you've seen or that you consumed in some way is almost always going to be, it's going to stick in your mind as being, I guess, a good thing, or you're just going to compare the most recent thing that you've seen to anything new that comes along. An example, if you break up with a good boyfriend or girlfriend or a good partner, and then you have another partner that comes along while you're on the rebound. So maybe you meet somebody new 2 weeks later, 2 weeks after breaking up with this long-term partner that you had. Well, they come in, you're automatically, before you even give them a full chance at trying to woo you, trying to impress you, you're automatically going to start comparing them to your most recent partner, whether that partner was good or bad. That partner could, unfortunately, have been incredibly abusive, and everything that this new person does, you're going to compare to that abusive partner and say, okay, well, maybe my abusive partner talked to me in this way, and this person doesn't talk to me in that way. Is that a sign that this person is not abusive, or this person is going to be good or better to me, etc., etc.? You're constantly comparing things to the most recent or the last thing that you've done. An example for me, this summer I plan on seeing Oppenheimer by what is his name? By Christopher Nolan. So it's directed by Christopher Nolan. Well, due to my last outing with a Christopher Nolan film being so bad, and that was Tenet. I hated Tenet. It was terrible. Yes, I understood it. I will talk more about it in another video, but I just thought it was really bad. But my last due to my last experience with a Christopher Nolan film being so horrendous, this new film, Oppenheimer, is going to be judged harshly on those same lines of all the things that I thought were wrong in Tenet. So it's going to in some ways cloud my, or at least affect my judgment on his new film. And it's hard for people not to have that kind of bias come into whatever they're doing, or whatever they're seeing, whatever they're consuming. It's just very difficult because it's hard for us to separate our memories between different things. Hey everybody, so while I don't have an official sign off yet, I guess I should do the whole please like, comment, share, and if you so desire and you want to see more, subscribe. But more importantly, I will ask that you please go and purchase one of my books. They are mostly ebooks, and pretty much they are all under $10. See if any of my work is actually any good, if it lives up to any of the things that I'm talking about here on my channel, specifically with the entertainment industry videos. So please go purchase my books. All of my links are down below. Thank you.